The Sparring Partners Raid Day is this weekend in Pokemon Go. Before you think this day is a skip, trust me, there are one or two things that you're definitely not thinking about. As always, we're going to run through the details, the bonuses, we've even got a shiny boost to cover, we're going to discuss the top targets which you should be going after, and right at the end, we have a surprise. Let's get straight into those details. Kicking off with time and day, it looks like the Sparring Partners Raid Day is going to be taking place this Sunday, which is April the 13th from 2 to 5 p.m. local time, so only 3 hours. What is a Raid Day and what is this Raid Day going to be featuring specifically? It's going to be featuring 3 specific Pokemon, which may seem random, but it's not. The first one is going to be Mega Heracross, which is of course a fighting and bug type Pokemon. We then have Hariyama, which is a straight fighting type Pokemon, and then we have Scraggy as well in there, which is going to be a fighting and dark type Pokemon. Mega Heracross, of course, is going to be spawning in Mega Raids. Hariyama is most likely going to be spawning in 3-star raids, and Scraggy will be spawning in 1-star raids, which is the pink egg. Of course, just like it was for the last couple of raid days, the shiny rate on this day is going to be 1 in 10. These shinies, specifically that Heracross coming from the Mega Heracross raid, is an absolute stunner of a shiny. That pink is beautiful, but more importantly, if you don't have the Hariyama or that Scraggy going into that Scrafty, this is a great opportunity to get that shiny. Off the bat, what we would definitely recommend is getting to a downtown area or something like a university campus where there are gyms everywhere stacked on top of one another, because you're going to want to be doing as many raids in this 3-hour time frame as possible. Let's look at those bonuses now. It's going to be the exact same bonuses just like it was for Mega Audino as well as Mega Absol. The remote raid limit is going to be increased to 20 from Saturday the 12th at 5 p.m. till Sunday the 13th, but that is going to be PDT time, so you pretty much have 2 days to do 40 raids if you want to remote raid these. Trainers can receive up to 5 additional passes, but a secret little tip here is that if you don't do a raid the day before, that free pass is going to carry over, so you might be able to do 6 free raids, which is incredible. And like we said, we do get that increased shiny chance, which is going to be 1 in 10 for each of these Pokemon coming from these raids. Some stunning shinies here. If trainers want to maximize this raid day for a total cost of $5, you can get some extra rewards. The first one being that you can get an additional 8 free raid passes from spinning gyms. There's going to be an increased chance to get rare XL candy from raids. You're going to get 50% more XP coming from these battles, which is going to coincide with something we're going to touch on at the end, and it's going to be 2 times Stardust from completing these raid battles. Free timed research will be available to all trainers, just like it was on the previous 2 raid days as well, where we can get a reward of 10,000 Stardust, which is pretty neat. You can get an additional 1,000 Stardust for a total of 2,000, but if you have the event ticket, you're going to get up to 3,000 Stardust for completing these raid battles too. On the Pokemon Go web store, there's going to be a Sparring Partners Raid Ultra ticket, which is going to include that event ticket, like we said, for $5, but it's going to get you an additional free premium pass at no additional cost. Alrighty, this is the first important thing we want to mention. As of this raid day and going forward, all of these featured Pokemon are going to learn the new move, which is going to be called Upper Hand. So in trainer battles, for example PvP, it's going to do 70 power, but it's going to have a chance to lower the opposing Pokemon's defense. And in gyms and raids, it's going to do 50 power, and we're going to have a look to see if this move is going to make a difference, and I'm telling you, it definitely will. But before we get into the important stuff, let's quickly break down our featured raid day Pokemon. The first one is going to be Mega Heracross, which of course is a bug and fighting type Pokemon. Now let me just say, it has a max CP of 5443, which is incredible, but look at that attack value. It's sitting at 334, which is confirmed to be one of the highest attacks in the entire game, so definitely one to go after. Its defense is 223 with a stamina of 190, so not as bulky, but boy, it's going to deal so much power. Unfortunately, Heracross coming from Mega Heracross is not that good in PvP, but Mega Heracross as a raid attacker, oh boy, where do we even start? If we look in the bug type category, it's taking the #1 spot with that Struggle Bug and Mega Horn combination because it hits tremendously hard. And in the fighting type category, as it stands, with not Upper Hand but close combat, it's taking the 2nd spot with a DPS of 18.84, but this is where Upper Hand comes in. I'm like 99% sure that this DPS is going to increase pretty dramatically because you can get off more hits. What's going to prove that to you is that if you look in the top 10, only close combat is on Mega Heracross because that's the best fighting type move it has as it stands. But as of this event, you can see things like Aura Sphere, you can see things like Dynamic Punch, Sacred Sword. Mega Heracross finally is going to get a move that's going to to charge quickly in the fighting type category, and it's going to hit tremendously hard and may even go to number 1. Next up, we have Hariyama, which is a straight fighting type Pokemon coming from the Hoenn region. Its max CP is 3198, an attack value of 209, a defense of 114, and a stamina of 302. So this Pokemon, especially for a first stage Pokemon, is going to hit relatively hard, but its bulk is really impressive. So let's see how that translates in the rankings. As you can see right now, Hariyama is currently taking the 23rd spot in the fighting type category with that Force Palm and Dynamic Punch, but its Shadow form is performing even better, and it's going to take the 11th spot with the exact same move combination. You can see on the screen right now, I've left a couple of Shadow Hariyamas that I've collected over time. I can't wait to power these up because they're going to be extremely helpful in raids. Next up, we have Scraggy, which is of course going to go into Scrafty. Let's look at those stats. It has a max CP of 2581, so there could be some PvP potential here. It has an attack of 163, a defense of 222, which for a glassy Pokemon I must say is very impressive, and a stamina of 163. If we look in the Great League right now, the optimal moveset you want there is going to be a 0815, which is the rank 1. Unfortunately though, because this is going to be a raid day, the lowest IV floor you're going to get is 10-10-10, so PvP is probably not something to look at. Stop. No, that is incorrect. Guys, in the Ultra League, it's very specific to Scrafty particularly. At level 50, I believe that the rank 1 is actually a 9-15-15, but a rank 2 might even be a 10-15-15, which means that on this raid day, you could get an incredible opportunity to get an Ultra League form of Scrafty, which isn't the easiest Pokemon to get because it doesn't spawn in the wild very often. If you guys want to check out Ghost Stadium, just type in Scrafty and you can filter what stats you have. If you look at the Ultra type category, we're going to leave it on screen right now. You can see that a lot of these IVs you're going to be able to get on this day, so this is definitely something you don't want to forget. Moving on to our quick counter guide. To be honest, we're not even going to cover a counter guide for Hariyama as well as Scraggy because to be honest, these Pokemon are going to be extremely easy to take down, but we're going to do a little bit more of a comprehensive one for Mega Heracross because it might be even more slightly difficult to take down, even though it's not really, because according to Pokebattler, you can actually solo this pretty easily. The best Megas you could use, of course, is going to be that Mega Rayquaza with that Air Slash and Dragon Ascent. To be honest, you could probably solo this with that Pokemon. You could use Mega Salamence with Fire Fang and Fly. The best Shadows you could use are going to be Shadow Salamence with Fire Fang and Fly, Shadow Moltres with Wing Attack and Sky Attack, Shadow Staraptor with Gust and Fly, and on the budget side, maybe for newer players that don't have those legendaries or shadows, you could use Salamence with Fire Fang and Fly, you could use Braviary with Air Slash and Fly, and even Staraptor with Wing Attack and Fly. The second important thing we want to mention isn't even connected to this event. Guys, we're in the middle of the Spring into Spring event right now. If you guys want to check that video out, please check it out up here. But one of the main bonuses in that event is going to be a 2x Lucky Egg duration, which means during this 3-hour time frame, you're only going to need 3 Lucky Eggs for the entire hour, which means if you pop those Lucky Eggs at the beginning of the event and you raid throughout, you're going to get not just 10,000, you're going to get 20,000 XP per raid, and if you have the ticket, you could get up to 25,000 XP per Mega Heracross raid, for example, a huge opportunity to get XP in the game. The third important thing to remember is that Heracross is a regional Pokemon, which means if you live in Africa or you live in Australia or India, you're not going to be able to find this Pokemon because it only spawns, I think, in the northern part of Southern America and just at the very south of North America. And last but not least, we're going to be talking about Scraggy. Why, Mikey? Scraggy is completely irrelevant to this event. Guys, a big surprise is going to be coming to Pokemon Go. It has just been confirmed through Central Leaks, which is one of the best leakers in the entirety of Pokemon, and they have a huge account on Twitter. It is confirmed through them, not the Pokemon Go company, so don't rip my head off, that Mega Scrafty is going to be coming to Pokemon Legends ZA, which means it is definitely a case that is going to be coming to Pokemon Go as well. Guys, this is a huge opportunity, and I'm telling you, they've done this on purpose, even though they haven't actually listed it because it's not actually confirmed. But believe me, this is the time you really want to go after that hundo, because who knows, Mega Scrafty could be an absolute bomb in the Dark type category as well as the Fighting type category. As you can see, I have the hundo next to me. I caught this in 2022, and I've never evolved it, not because I knew this was coming, because now of course I can get that upper hand on that Pokemon, but I can't wait for Mega Scrafty to come. So guys, smash that like button, go with us. We really packed this video for you, and we think that this day is now very underrated. Smash that subscribe button. We have the Pokemon Horizons, of course, coming next week, and we're gonna cover everything. Go with us. Catch you in the next one, baby. Shh.